Hello everyone, we are making this video to find some connection between places and people's life. To be more exact, that we are looking for the inspiration a poet can get from a place he goes to. Today our destination will be Crimea. What kind of place is it? Is it just an obscure piece of land in the Black Sea, or might it be a cultural natural paradise? So, let's take a deeper look.
Crimea is charming and inviting with a poetical exquisiteness and natural aristocracy, transmits from century to century. A lot of writers and poets traveled around this little peninsula. Pushkin, Akhmatova, Vernadsky Tsvetaeva and other Russian poets came to this unforgettable place. Many of their poets were dedicated to Crimea and make a wonderful heritage we can still appreciate. Now, we'll set off to learn more about it. Our journey will start from Yalta.
Yalta is shaped by the warm sea, wholesome air, mountain woods and beautiful landscapes. It was about this place that Samuel Marshak wrote his beautiful poem.
Samuel Marshak was born on October 22, 1837 in Voronezh. He wrote for all ages. His poems are the most devoted friends which accompany us throughout our lives. When the writer came to the cities of Crimea, he was eagerly awaited by all people. Especially, he was one of the favorite guests in Artek, International Children's Center. Samuel Marshak's creativity lives and finds response in the hearts of people from different countries, cultures and generations. He was also a great translator. He made Russians familiar with Kipling, Shakespeare and Jane Austen.
The waterfront here is half round, the wind is wet, the sea is loud. Yalta is cheerfully staring toward the south and it's glaring. The yellowness of local grapes is just the same that in the days when we were just the little boys and this engraved in mountain slopes. I came to Yalta at the end of summer holidays and met only young people, and I thought they were 14 or so years old. The house in Yalta then was left by Chekhov, and it looked bereft of owner when I there appeared, and saw the city just that year. And now this house, white and fair, above the narrow south street, and strangely seems to have the air there from the north and not from here. And 5 decades had quickly passed without a notice, and a glance they didn't even change a note in Chekhov's office where he wrote. And Yalta, which was always quiet, like Russia, wanted a great fight, and people there, all day long, were singing Vyshyvanka song.
Our journey goes on, and now we're in the wonderful town of Feodosia, which was once visited by a glorious poetess. Marina Tsvetaeva was born on September 26, 1892. From 1913 to 1914, after her father's death, she lived in Feodosia to rest and recover from her loss. In this town she met the descendants of the renowned seascape painter Aivazovsky and the local poet and artist Maximilian Voloshin.
After leaving Crimea, she often reminisced about her carefree life there and its imminent beauty. But she was destined to never come back, as after years of emigration, arrest of her family members, and evacuation from Moscow at the beginning of war.
Above the town of Feodosia burnt out. Forever magical spring day. The evening hours in the bay and shadows groaning all around. The sadness rises deep in me. I wander mindlessly in town, and swing around and lower down my two thin hands lamentably. The wind with kiss embraces me. I walk along the genius walls, and little silk waves of dress folds touch and embrace my little me. The rim of wedding ring is thin, the bouquet of few wild flowers, pathetically small and sour, and almost reaches to my chin. I walk along the fortress walls, My dusky sorrow smells of spring. When evening shadows reach the brim, and hopelessness can't find the words.
Now we are in Sevastopol. The city is a hero and a fighter, like the poets here. And now we would like to tell you about one of them.
Eduard Asadov was born in 1923 to an intelligent family of teachers. He always fought for great ideas against cynicism, untruth and callousness. Maybe that's why in the Great Patriotic War, in the battle for Sevastopol, he decided to a desperate act, deliver ammunition to his fellow soldiers. His feat made him lose his eyes, but brought a decisive stroke to the symphony of Sevastopol victory. His poems are like people who are in distress, grief and sorrow.
May breeze glides behind my collar, ships give whistles in the harbor. O Sevastopol, your honors celebrated at this hour. In Strzelecka Bay the shadows melt with hot and bouncy stunts of the sunbeams on the runs. Morning smell of pinks is mellow. Further, further sunbeams dash. Belbek Valley, sage and rocks. Guns and fire got their crops. Oh, here many souls perished. Battlefield, you know indeed, Crimea drowns in vines and grows, but it keeps its old ashen molds, and shell fragments cling under feet. Pebbles rustle against the waves, and I'm captured by dreams of the past, when I burned in that very place, as the blast glazed all over my face. But I rose and made my life last. All my people, we marched hand in hand, for all's happiness through dust and brawl, scarlet dawn spots on this sun-baked land. Do remind us of victory's toll. I stand silent, still and severe, as the dawn hoists its flag in the bay. Flowers lie at the edge of the way, for old friends who long disappeared, who can't speak and rejoice on this day. Dmitry Borisovich Kedrin was a Russian USSR poet and a translator. He was born in 1907 in a Donbass village to a family of a miner. Even though he lived a pretty short life, having tragically and mysteriously died under the wheels of train in 1945, Kedrin visited a lot of towns and countries. The place that impressed him the most, however, was a little peninsula of Crimea. His stay here inspired the poet to write one of his most famous poems.
Old friend, I want to speak to you. Old friend, do you recall Crimea? A thick dark beach, amazing view, and let's pretend that we are near. Red crabs and jellyfish were found by children barefoot on the ground. The ships were calm and not exciting. Behind breakwaters they were hiding. The sea was cheerful like a dog, and long blue waves were this dog's tongue. The dog was lying in the shallow and licking sand, which was bright yellow. Above, the stars were just like tears, and under them were cypresses. Each looked exactly like a candle. The smell of night was fragrant sandal. You lit a cigarette and said, "This place and I've already met. The night smells good, it's very quiet. But that Crimea which I liked, but that Crimea which I love, was gunned by me in broad daylight." He, in the 20s, every bush seemed a disguise for some ambush. Now on the beach, on this warm sand, a stub of cigar can't be left, and twigs from trees he can't be fallen, and stones from beaches can't be stolen. From Kremlin walls to the Crimea, each inch of land is mine and dear. The blood of people is in roses, they just did not have time to blossom. And let the grapes and glasses pour the life which 20 years ago came to this land to rest in peace. I swear that it was worth the risk. Look, someone's coming, and he ate sunflower seeds at the old gate. Now silk pajamas are on him, in hands he holds a violin. Our rest is great, but please recall, while watching films or playing ball, when you're at work, when you are sad, This place was really hard to get. Now you are silent, and your eyes are lit with glint of million stars. The sea is cheerful like a dog, and long blue waves are this dog's tongue. This dog is lying in the shallow and licking sand, which is bright yellow. Above, the stars are just like tears, and under them are cypresses. Each looks exactly like a candle. The smell of night is fragrant sandal. And so we drank, our bottoms up, of muscat wine a fragrant cup, and cheered for our motherland, for bliss to live in such a land, and to protect it till the end.
By land and by word.
Today we have visited 3 towns in Crimea.
Yalta, Sevastopol and Feodosia.
We have looked at Crimea
Through the eyes of 4 poets.
Marshak, Tsvetaeva, Asadov and Kedrin.
With them, we have shared the experience
Of love in this land.
Thanks for watching.